center today. We good. Alright, mic check, 1, 2.
We on.
We on. What up, what up? It's the Brokest Podcast You Know. We got lucky today, man. We got some food, so we ain't that broke. Typical fashion, I am your man, Wax, aka Universal, Wax Group TV, home of the Brokest Podcast. Make sure y'all share this video, like this video, help us blow up, man. Let's break the YouTube algorithm. Let's spread this to the world.
Hit that thumbs up button too.
Facts. To the left, we got the light-skinned homie,
Mr. DC YOP. Listen, I'm stuck on my face right now. And I lost my voice yesterday because, I was doing my daddy duties at the beach, screaming with kids in the water. So bear with me. I'm here though.
to the far, far left, we got the one and only.
It's that out there. You know I don't play. You know I was born a man. I don't got nothing else to say. Okay?
He spilled rice all in the lobby. He trying to make sure we get a good hit.
Man, they can't even see that.
Oh, this shit, we on camera, player. Fuck this shit, trust me.
Yo.
Hey, yo, so, something I realized after our last podcast. Two things, actually. One, we're probably the dopest podcast no one's ever heard of.
Hands down.
Two, our podcast definitely caters. I don't necessarily want to say the underground, but that level beneath mainstream, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about those people who ain't on the radio. You know what I mean? Those people who pour their heart and soul into their music, and there's no machine backing them, telling them what they can and can't do. How y'all feel about that?
Well, I feel like you 1,000,000% correct. That's the vibe. You know what? We the voice for the speechless.
We getting deep over here.
You know what I'm saying?
Spell philosophical.
Yo.
P-H-I-L-O. P-H-I-C-A-L.
Yo.
That name of the school, y'all.
Yo. You know I don't play. Step out late. But yeah, hey. Speaking of that, underground shit, y'all, I feel.
Check the back. My bad.
I feel good right now, yo.
I believe so, yeah.
Let me tell y'all viewers why I feel good right now. Because
We got pollo queso. We got pollo queso. We got pollo queso.
there's an album.
I do the most. I got
There's an album I've been listening to a lot lately,
you do got that.
and the artist is from CT. If y'all ain't know, we from CT. So, and it's like, can we call it underground?
Why not? We'll say it's a level beneath mainstream.
Yeah, but it could this album could potentially, easily be a mainstream smash in my heart. That's just my opinion. Well, yo, why I always gotta throw out a goddamn disclaimer, yo?
I know.
I always gotta throw out a disclaimer. Cause these is my thoughts and how I feel.
Hey, there's gonna be a whole lot of smacking in this episode, so I already hear it. Hella smacking going on.
Well,
Ain't nothing wrong with that, though.
No, I ain't mad at it. It just means we can eat food.
so y'all want to talk about that album right now or nah?
Dive into it.
All right, so the name of the album is called Rafer, right? If y'all didn't watch the series on Netflix, it's called damn, I forgot the name of it. I'm going blank right now, yo. The series on Netflix is called, anyways, I can't remember the name of the series, but it's the Pablo Escobar shit, right?
Narcos?
Narcos, exactly. Narcos. And what is it, season 2 or season 3?
I think they just did season 3 was the last one they finished when they was in Mexico.
Okay, so season 3, there's a character in there. It's called Rafa, right? Rafa, yeah, Rafa, excuse me, Rafa. I can't speak right now. Rafa, he gangster in that joint. So, you know, this local MC from Connecticut called Wade McKenzie. Now these guys, Mr. Esteban and Wax, it's kind of weird because they're, excuse me, they kind of like connect, they got like a connection with the producer that produced this album. And let me tell you something.
Let me say this real minor before you get to the dude who produced this album and YouTube, I don't, you know, don't hit me or SoundCloud, none of y'all. I'm not trying to be violent. Producer, when I see you, I'm putting hands on you.
Yo, this album is so hard. It's so fire. Let me tell you something. Like, I listen to that shit, excuse my language, I listen to it at least 20 times a week since it dropped. What is it, like 7 or 9 tracks on that joint?
Something like that.
Look that
It's
up.
not long. It's fire though.
But yo,
Nah, it's not long at all. But
as soon as you turn this album on,
it's got a lot of depth.
let me,
You know what I'm saying? It's
yo, as soon as I turn that album on, this is what that album does to me. As soon as I turn that album on,
7 tracks.
I just instantly just get low, and that shit come in like, ooh, mama, ooh, mama. Yo, as soon as that shit come on, as soon as that comes on, it does something to me like
Production on its own.
yo, it does something to me like spiritually. I swear this shit is just like talking to my soul when this album comes on. Bars is legit, production is legit. Yo, the production sounds like homie been in the game for decades.
Why you think I want to beat him up?
For decades.
well, it has.
He absolutely has.
Like, yo.
Since we was like 16, 17.
It's so crazy. And the beat from getting back to that, and the beat from CT, it's just like, wow. We got one. No disrespect to any other CT artists out there, but this album right here, it's like, wow, we got one.
To me, it's got that definite like 90s type of boom bap.
What?
Let's not say that. I want to be politically correct for a second. I hate when niggas say, oh, we got that 90s feel.
Well, I just said it, nigga. When we
So, it's
definitely got a postmodern, you know.
got a traditional hip hop sound.
Yeah.
He must have felt better, yeah.
Nah, you know why I get irked from like, you be talking to people about music and they be like,
You know what I mean?
yeah, you know, he got that real 90s flow.
But I can say that, nigga.
Why you gotta be a 90s
I'm
flow?
saying, nigga, I got CDs, nigga. It's,
Oh, I know, bro. You ain't the only one. My headphones, like, come on.
I'm saying we out here, nigga.
Yeah.
So you know I can say that, right?
So this producer we're referring to goes by the name of, on Instagram, dub_divine, SW Divine, you know.
Yeah.
He's actually a pretty talented lyricist himself.
He is.
That's why I want to put hands on him.
Yo,
But
Dub,
he knows how I feel. And I love
Dub, you bodied that album, bro.
definitely
You
said
bodied that album.
When I see
You
on
body.
the saltfish and tolerable patty, you feel me?
Bodied this album, yo.
Huevos.
Let me tell you something. I absolutely love that album. I loved everything about it, everything you guys did on it. The bars, even the album cover. Even the album cover, it feels like so like,
Fire.
yo, you got Rocco on that joint with a mask on,
The album cover is fire.
him. With the jewels shining.
with the jewels shining,
That says so much. Home there.
chest
with
hair
the mask
out.
on.
What?
That killed it.
Yeah, y'all bodied that during the current climate.
Yes.
Yo, that shit's so hard, yo.
Well, shout out to Wayne McKenzie, shout out to Dub.
The way this the whole like time frame and degrees of how this album came out and when it came out,
Yeah,
because there's so much good music coming out.
yeah.
That's how you knew, like, damn, this shit still stood out. Like, oh,
Exactly.
shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, oh shit, within all this fucking fire music coming out.
Exactly.
You understand what niggas trying to say?
Exactly.
But, you know, we know how that them niggas.
Hey, and you know what too? You know what? Y'all should think about this too. Yo, they should make merch. Yo, if y'all want to make merch, y'all holler at me, bro. I got y'all. Cause yo, that merch will be what? That merch will be so fire.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I'm telling you. Get it up.
You know, send that to him first. But speaking of fire albums, man, 2 albums I want to talk about. So one, last time we did the podcast, it was before August 14th. That was before Man Shit was about to drop. Money, upstate New York, they had that weekend on lock.
Yeah.
Nah,
I had some. I smashed mine. Fuck yeah,
they
fuck
look
yeah.
good. You know what, I'm lying. Throwing up on there for me.
Empanadas, if y'all can't see. No, that's not plantain. Excuse me. I'm bugging.
So, upstate New York definitely had that. You know, what everybody dropped with Etho, Flea Lord, the PSF drop, 38 Special dropped. But there was 2 albums that dropped during that time period that was, first of all, that Shot Half album, bananas. Time Zones. Time Zones is mine. Yes.
Yes.
Time Zones make you want to slap fire out of somebody, and I don't see no one
I hear
buying
that
it.
shit on the radio too.
Absolutely.
You understand? Like, what that be? Yo, what?
And
Yo.
Ransom dropped Director's Cut 3. Ransom are putting out some quality on the low, because we just got Director's Cut 2 this year as well. And I just feel like this stuff just don't get promoted or talked about.
I didn't listen to the album. I gotta listen
Ransom,
to it.
so you know what I like about Ransom? Ransom's lyrical, but they also give you that pain in this music too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got those artists who are not lyrical, but you hear the passion in it, so you like it. But
He definitely not
He got
getting his.
one.
He definitely not getting. He not getting his just due though.
no,
But hold on though. Is it Ransom's fault or is it yeah? Is it like?
I think it's a combination of him and the industry.
Yeah.
So I think now, going forward, he might be able to get his shot. And I'm gonna just say that's due to Rock. I'm gonna say a lot of that is due to Rock Marciano, and I'm gonna tell y'all why in a minute. But I feel like going forward, he can get his shine if he continuously puts out a lot of the work that he puts out.
Yeah.
But you remember when the 18 first broke up, and he was going at a lot of rappers, and
Yeah.
your home was like, I'm like one of the best. Why the fuck I ain't got no deal yet? Somebody can sign me. So I think a lot of that screaming that he was doing could have hindered
Brought
him
people the
back in
wrong
day.
way?
Yeah. And then he got locked up once or twice since then.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that plays into it. But these industry dudes know this man game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I feel like he clearly rock with like 38 Special and dudes because the dudes know he can rap. He's nice. He's no scrub. I feel like he's gonna get his just due soon. Now, reason I say Rock Marciano is gonna be the reason for that. Hold on, hold that thought.
We good.
So, reason I say Rock Marciano is gonna be the reason for that is when you think about going back to Rock's first debut album back in 2010, and then like what's popping right now when you look at like the Griselda camp and everything else, and dudes making beats, just very untraditional beats. Rock stayed true to his sound from 2010 till now. So he basically made that shit cool to be yourself or to go against the norm. Because Rock will loop the fuck out of a sample, will have no drums, no bass line, and rap over it, and it sounds very mafia and cinematic like, and that's him. But now fast forward, right? Think about it.
Hold on, let me just chime in on it. It's crazy you say that, bro. It's just something I came across. I listened to my guy Billy Woods. That album, 2012. That shit had a rock feature. And he definitely still has that same flow. And it was crazy because I thought like his voice was, obviously it was a little different, but it was like a little more deeper or whatever.
His voice is deeper now. But he also put on weight. He's older, he put on some weight. Not bad weight either. But I think that plays a part in it as well.
I'm not gonna lie though. I didn't really like Rock in the beginning. He grew on me though. I didn't like him in the beginning.
But so why didn't you like him now?
Because of his style, it was just like slow to me, and I just couldn't. I couldn't. You know what I couldn't deal with? I couldn't deal with the fact that it sounded like he was rhyming off beat. I couldn't I didn't like that. But this what it took for me. You can't, cause I listen to like a lot of music in my whip. Like if you know what I'm saying? Like if I can't feel it in my whip, I'm like, come on, man. I can't.
Yeah, it's gotta set the tone for a drive.
But what I did was I listened to rock in the crib one day. I can't remember what album it was. Nobody was around me. It was just me by myself. I turned it on. Damn, which album was that?
Was it Behold the Dark Horse or Rosebud?
It might have been Behold the Dark Horse.
Okay.
So right, I'm listening to that shit, right? And I'm like, yo! I started getting like excited. I'm like, yo, this dude got something to him, yo. So ever since then, I'm like, all right, okay, I can rock with this. But it just took me some getting used to. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's how it was when it came to Currency. To be honest with you, I couldn't listen to him right now.
Yeah, because Currency rhyme, he rhymes so slow.
You know,
He's just like so laid back.
His list was what did it for me. It was just like I couldn't get past it. Plus the New Orleans accent.
I got a little list too.
But so fast forward though, think about it. Boom. Look at dudes like coming out of Brazil, became Action Bronson, you know, the Euro Drew, Stady Browns, like the type of beats that a lot of these guys rap over, and even their style of rap.
Yeah.
Crying Apple, like all of that comes from Rock being consistent and true to himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even when you listen to Derringer's production, and I'm not like trying to diss Derringer in any way, shape, or form, but like you hear Alchemist, you hear Rhythm, you hear Rock, all in his production. Like, so
it's just the influence. You
can't
get mad.
It's not emulating, you can tell the influences are there. That's a good thing. But I just feel like when you think about like just the way music is now, especially like a lot of the wordsmiths actually getting their just due right now. A lot of that is solely because Rock stayed true to himself and allowed a lane to open up for these other guys to be true and still make money.
They set that tone. They say,
Exactly.
listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm not gonna go mainstream because this. I know my true fans. They still gonna be there and they gonna come. And I'm just gonna do what I do. I respect that. Gotta respect that, yo.
He made a comment on the, I think it was the Rap Radar podcast. And
That was a good interview. Y'all should check that out.
Certified manual picker or something.
Yeah, you did.
the way you did that, it was pretty certain.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
It was pretty certain.
I ain't gonna lie.
On the Rap Radar podcast, I think this is the second interview after Behold the Dark Horse. Or this might have been, this is after Behold the Dark Horse, so before Marcel Lago, or around that time.
Hold on, which interview?
So Rock had two interviews in Rap Radar. Technically three if you consider the count the car test. So he had one when Rosebud's Revenge 2 dropped. Then he did another one right when Marcel Lago was dropping. Plus he did the car test for Behold the Dark Horse.
Yeah.
So the long story short, in the interview they asked him like, yo, if you ever plan on making music for the radio? He was like, honestly, I feel like a bunch of my records could be played on the radio now. Like I'm not gonna make a radio record, and I feel like I already have a radio record.
Yeah.
And it's crazy like how many artists think that way, right? Like, damn, this about to be my next single, blow up. But could you imagine if like dudes like this music got played on the radio, how much better the radio would be?
I do, but that's our opinions though.
True.
Like a lot of people, like just like I just said, that would take some getting used to. Like a new fan, like you would have to he would have to grow on you per se. Cause to just throw like one of his songs on the radio right now, it might catch people off guard. Like, yo, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So, and that would make some people might not even want to go and do their research and really, indulge into like the artist that he really is.
You know, artists feel like when I've heard people like say like they pretend like the music, like his music or Kyle or someone else's
that's not true.
I feel like
but it does make you think, but
it's thought provoking.
Yeah,
but to me, it's just there. Like, you know what I mean? But if your mind's not already going, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. People just don't do well with blending their music.
Because everybody's like so into this dancey, like up pop.
Right. If it ain't got a TikTok dance to it, they don't want to do well. Which is cool. But just mix it up just a little bit.
Yeah. Shout out to Shade 45. Shout out to Shade 45 and Rock the Bells on, you know.
I can't wait for
satellite radio.
Major content.
There's a lot of clones out here.
So, Purple Tape, 25 years of perfection.
Yeah.
So we missed that last time. Thoughts on that album? Where does it fall in like all-time favorite albums, or top 5, top 10 albums of all time?
Oh, the Purple Tape is definitely my top 10 catalog. Like low key, back in the days, fat little chubby dudes like me. You know what I'm saying? You always thought you wanted to be Ray.
Yeah, you had some shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You wanted to be that style. You wanted to be, you wanted to be Ray. So that Purple Tape, bro.
Yo, Ray was fly back in the day. Still fly.
That's my guy.
He can dress.
But that Purple Tape, it changed a lot. I remember being young at the time. I got family up in Boston, and we was banging the Purple Tape up at my cousin. Shout out to Smoke Bulge. Was banging the Purple Tape. He had that joint. He was banging it up in his room. He was running it back. My cousin was saying that shit line for line. And I remember my uncle yelling up. My Uncle Al, I love him. Yo, turn that shit down. Yo, what y'all doing to me? Yo, turn that music down. Yo, it was so funny, so crazy. But yo, we used to be just laugh. Yo, that album, it just did something to us, bro. Like, it did something to us. Like, I remember being in school, and everybody, like, I'm saying, like, everybody just like they just wanted to emulate. You know what I'm saying? That Purple Tape, that Wu-Tang style, yo. To me, in my heart, man, it'll never be another era like that. Never. Hands down.
You know what's crazy about that album? So I didn't get it in 95. Obviously, I was too young for it at that point in time. But when I got my hands on it, and it was like 01, 02, me and this dude was in middle school.
Yeah.
The influence was crazy it was heavy on me then. Yeah. So I can only imagine being in 95, like being around when that dropped, and like actively in the music scene, I probably would have lost my mind. Like, cause that sound, even to this day, that sound is so perfect.
Yeah, he just did an interview recently too, talking about it, and
is this the one where he alluded to Purple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was talking to Elliot.
Yep.
And he was saying, I didn't even know this. He was saying that when he was making the album, he hit up Ghost. He's like, yo. He said they had skated off and they did the album and shit. And he was pretty much saying.
Where they did it? They didn't do it like it was in like Jamaica.
They went somewhere. They went somewhere.
No, they were in Bahamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just just like, cause like you just said, we young at the time, but like they was probably older. They was probably like young, early 20s.
We were young at the time. You were a grown ass man. You had already graduated high school. Yeah, but the rhymes the rhymes and the lines he's saying on that album, was like, damn, like mentally, what would you guys at? Like, how the hell was you thinking about this shit? Y'all 20, like. Young, early 20s, like, it's crazy. And then especially to remove yourself from that setting and then still put out such a classic album.
Yeah.
But for me, this is one of those albums like this and Muddy Waters. It goes in that group of albums like, that's the blueprint for making an album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't talk about Muddy Waters, man. That is a timeless freaking album.
That's a
It's
classic. Them two
Hands
albums,
down.
those are blueprints for making albums.
Hands down. I don't want to get off that. I don't want to get off this topic, bro. I'm gonna stay on it. I don't know if you listened to it, Mr. Esteban, but he was saying how the interview he did with Elliot. He was saying how the first time he met Nas too, and he brought Nas in. And he was like, yo, he was like him and
You
Go.
gotta do Prodigy, right? Or something like that.
Nah, he said,
Who is it, Ray?
this is Ray. Ray was like that, you know, like a shorty they used to hang around him one time. She was bumping that shit in the whip. He was like, yo, who is this kid? Who is this cat? Who is this young, who is this cat spitting like this? Like he said he ain't know him at the time, but he was like, yo, homie got bars. So he ended up meeting him in whatnot. And he was like, yo, he pretty much like, you know, scoop homie on this, you know, wig. And he was like, yo, he told Coates, he was like, yo, we gotta get homie on that.
Verbal intercourse is the classic.
Yeah, he was saying how you know Nas had came through the island, and he was before they even had the beat for the original track. He was just in there spitting, and Nas kept asking him like yo, is just like what y'all want? Like he was just like, yo, whatever, give us whatever. You know what I'm saying, we got you. He was like, man. He's like that verse he laid on verbal intercourse. He was just like, yo, when I put the
lights, cameras in action.
Bro, he said, yo, he's like, yo, that verse just blew my mind. He's like, I couldn't believe all that was coming out of this young dude. So
would y'all say that's one of his best verses?
It's definitely one of his best. Definitely. I wouldn't say the best, but it's definitely one of his best.
You know what I like when I notice like a lot of dudes when they get on tracks with Wu members, I feel like all of them tend to elevate their game. Almost like they know, like I'm on a track with like a living God, so I have to like come all the way correct. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Especially
absolutely.
like their chemistry with the locks. Like you ever notice their chemistry with the locks is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the way they vibe off each other, but just in general, artists, as soon as they get on the track, like Ghost, Ray, Math, whatever, it seems like they step it up to here, like another notch. Like I can't get dusted by the God on the track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure dudes go into the studio feeling like that. Like there's no way they don't.
Yeah. Yo, you know who I've been missing like crazy lately? Yo, P, man, Prodigy. Prodigy. Yeah.
Yo, I was in the gym last night. I got another set out listening to keep it thorough.
Yeah, I'm so mad, yo, Havoc, man. We need. I don't know what has to get done, but I need his catalog on Tidal. It's not on. It's like
His catalog's not anywhere.
it's not. It's no. Yo, we need that. I don't know if you can make that happen or.
So y'all know apparently Havoc's supposed to drop an album with Method Man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one because like Meth still got it. Like the last few albums he put out, like the lyrics still beat the production this week.
Meth was like in the bodybuilding now.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
getting right.
Well, his reasoning for it is amazing.
Yeah.
What was it?
So he has insomnia.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, you did say that, right?
he couldn't sleep. So
Right.
he's in great shape right now too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said
couldn't-
just
Shout out to Matt.
go to the gym. Yeah.
Just get up, go to the gym. You know what I mean? Wear yourself out, put you to bed. That's perfect. But that goes like I was saying before. It needs more people like him. Jim Jones, I feel like
Yeah,
they
you said-
need to
yeah,
be
you
at the
said that.
forefront of
Yeah.
pushing that.
Yeah, say that.
And our community, yeah, like just amongst the hip hop community, I feel like that needs to be pushed way more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And granted, you know, Meth is really active with that on social media now. Like, I don't think you go a day without seeing him posting something in the gym or like, you know, he's got his workout merch now and everything too. So that's pretty dope. Shout out to him. Shout out to Jim Jones, because Jim Jones be hitting you with the prison workouts / home workouts.
Yeah.
I like his content.
The Jones.
Nah, but for real, we need more of that.
That's my guy too.
Dudes eating healthy, Davies.
Man.
Yeah, I know Davies posted a few times working out. His frame of physique has changed.
I
quite a
seen the
bit.
topic. Tell me this real quick. I seen the topic. Who y'all think is the better baller? Davies or J. Cole?
Oh, Davies. I've seen footage of both of
Yo,
them.
I just seen some footage.
Yeah. Davies has.
dog.
Davies was a shooter in college. He He was a legit shooter.
I gotta check it out. I ain't see it.
I gotta find the video on YouTube, but Home was a shooter. Like, I'm talking anywhere on the court, he was pulling up.
He just dropped a new mixtape too.
Yeah.
He just dropped a new mixtape. Yeah.
Y'all give it a spin there?
Yeah. I'm like a quarter way through it. Excuse me, 3/4 way through that joint. But it's tough. I'm pleased with what I heard so far. Because the weird thing is, like, he's been out for a hot little minute now. And it's like you always rooting for East because he's under that Nas, excuse me. Yeah, exactly. So it's like you want him to win so bad, but it's like when he does projects alone, they don't hold up.
Well, Home kind of tapped in on that, like on the Bootleg Kev podcast. Shout out to Bootleg Kev. I like his content.
Yeah.
I just need to do the numbers that he's doing. That's all.
Absolutely.
Behind.
Yeah.
But Home basically said, like, he made his music initially, like, basically for the streets. It was about bars and lyricism. But around the time he started acting, women started listening to his stuff.
Yeah.
So his fan base grew from being like, people who only cared about lyricism to now you got all these women, and you kind of catered it somewhat towards the women. Yeah. And like, I get it, because LL more or less did the same thing. It was like, you got this tall and shaped dude who's, you know what I mean? Like, you got to make your money. Like, I totally get it. But I just feel like that kind of hindered his career in some aspects. It was like, we need an album from him just with nothing else. Like, his features should only be spares.
Hindered his career. That's like, what?
You don't feel like
it's not holding up to expectation.
Yeah. You don't feel like he should be in a bigger spot than what he is?
I do.
And I feel like he's one of those dudes, he can act, he can do the modeling stuff.
Like, pertaining, staring towards the ladies, hindered his
No.
I took that job.
No.
What?
Davis is nice. Like, if he was coming to town, I should go see him. But I just feel like, if you put out that classic dancer,
to me, Dave East, is under, I know he's under Nas and all, but, style-wise, he's under the Fab umbrella.
Absolutely. Fab, the same thing. I feel the same way about Fab.
I think Fab got a decent amount of spotlight.
Fab has a good core fan base, but Fab could have definitely been, on that Mount Rushmore.
That next one from that whole, sporty type of thug ordeal.
You know what? How I feel, and Conway said this in one of his lines. He said, every one of my projects resonate with the projects.
Yeah.
I feel like Dave East needs that album that just solely resonates with the projects.
Yeah.
And it don't have to be shoot 'em up, bang, bang, but telling them stories and just give it that grit, street storytelling, whatever. Like, you just need a hard album that's gonna be labeled a classic and then do your thing from there. Yeah. I just feel like you got so much potential, but there comes a period of time when that shit runs out and it's like, alright, we tired of waiting for the upside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't become a J Electronica.
Exactly. I agree.
But you know what? It's hard because I feel like we can go any and everywhere right now. There's so much
Since
music.
you just brought up the J Electronica, I remember me saying, that album was going to be one of the best albums this year.
I'm glad you went there.
I didn't know all this other good music was
Alright, so as of right now, end of August, going into
It's still up
September.
there, don't get me wrong. It's definitely still up there.
So what is like your strong contender for album of the year right now?
For me,
And you too.
I'm
indulging that
it might be Armenian Shrines for me. I'm going that route.
What about you, Mr. DCYLP?
Or I don't know. Yeah, because that mock was hard too. I don't know. It's hand in hand, man. But I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna just go with Shrines.
going with
But that baby Kizzy shit fire
So
too.
sit down. Listen, man. Hey, listen. If we talking,
I'm gonna go with Shrines.
I got a few. In my heart, it's that Stove God Cooks. Reasonable drought. And But I can go with Alfredo. I can go with Kai.
See,
That's what I'm saying. See, I can go with Kai. Yo, even that album does something to me, like spiritually, bro. Like, bro, it does something to me, like mentally. It's like,
well, I'm gonna keep it on it. Every
it's
time
weird.
I speak, he gonna put you in that type of
that shit resonates.
he gonna put you in that realm. It ain't even a feeling. It's
That shit is deep.
Yo, and I ain't even religious, but that shit do something to my soul. Like, yeah, it's like it's weird.
The way he's spirit.
It's like
The way he
I
speaks.
was trying to write at night like,
what?
But the way he speaks.
It's like weird. Like,
I definitely know what you're talking
Yo,
about.
his words definitely, they put you in that realm. In the subconscious realm is the best way to put it. But then Alfredo's so hard hitting. You know what I mean? So I'm back and forth between the two of those. I can't even. Those are my two strong contenders at the moment, to be honest with you. Hold that thought real quick. Alright, so after this Kai and this Freddie Gibbs, the Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs, who'd be your next contender for album of the year? Like to put out like something really. Let me ask you this: what goes into it being the album of the year for you as an individual?
you want me to answer it first, Mr. Esteban?
Me is listens and how it appeals to the masses.
For me, it's replay value, and like you said, how it appeals to the masses. But what is it doing for the culture? You know what I mean? Like in that sense, that's how I look at it more so. But the replay value is big, and I feel like both of those albums. And when I say replay value, so boom, you know how like certain albums you only play during certain periods of time. Like Alfredo and Kyle, I listen to that at the second job when I'm busting dishes down. I listen to that in the gym, throwing up weights. I can listen to either of those on a car ride, you know what I mean? Or whenever you get your mind right, I can throw either of those albums on. So replay value is heavy for me. What about you?
I feel the same way. Replay value. I listen to, like I said earlier, I listen to a lot of my music in my vehicles. So, you just find yourself, even when you listen to one album that you like a lot, right? You listen to it completely, the shit go off, and you're thinking like, damn, what should I play next? This is what I do. You know what I do? Run the shit right back. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you know that. Well, that's how I know in my heart, and I feel like, yo, listen, this album is doing something. If I feel like it's doing something to me, like it's moving me, like in ways, like, yo, this shit is powerful. I'm giving it like a lot of respect.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Go like this.
Like, bruh.
That's when you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You gotta take that deep breath,
Exactly.
and you make a stank face. The album is dead.
Or if I lean in my whip, like I'm harder than what I really am, because I am a sucker. But if I start leaning, it make me start feeling like I'm somebody different. Like, yo. But
you know what album do that for me? That new currency and Harry Fraud. You just want to have on the silk button up. You don't even do 3 buttons with that. That's just straight unbuttoned, taco meat everywhere, and you, like he said, you only play old music in your old. When he said, "Oh my God."
let me
I
tell you.
only play old music in my old car.
This is what I respect about currency, because y'all know, y'all heard me venting in the chat. I think a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I feel like artists, they just put music out, and they just, once they done with it, they just pretty much like wipe their hands with it. They don't want to like push it or make visuals and stuff for it.
Right.
Currency, killing the visuals right now for his latest project.
What do you got? You got 3 videos up?
Healing.
Videos up for the project?
And I feel like that's what you. So to me, in my mind,
And he had the 3 videos.
exactly. So he really, really loves. To me, it's telling me.
Very passionate about his shit.
Exactly.
But you know what
Exactly.
comes off? See, what I really like about him, he doesn't give you rapper vibes. Like, I gotta be this cool ass dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Himself.
Yeah.
he's just a guy who's into cars, who likes to rap, who has now become a family man, and smokes a ton of weed. So, like, that spills over into the music. Like, he's not trying, like, you can tell he's trying when he's writing, but he's not trying to be hard. He's not trying to be, like, extra smooth or cool.
Exactly.
And that's what I really enjoy about him. Like, he just rap, and you can tell, like, I get the impression that he's probably a very genuine person and a caring person when he's around people.
I agree.
So speaking of caring, like passionate shit, and I'm only gonna say this because I like going back to that Kev interview with Conway.
Yeah.
You ever notice like the rappers who spit the hardest shit be some of the nicest people? Like they be like the people that you walk up to and they seem like they be the ones that either give you everything under the sun if they fuck with you or be ready to take the shirt off. Like you ever notice that? Like
Yeah.
whoa, that should have catch you off guard. Like
Yeah.
nigga rapping hella hard and smacking the shit out of you and selling dope, and then you might get to meet this person. Hey, you want anything? Can I get you something to drink? You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, let's smoke. I got you.
Yeah, that's why I kind of feel like, you know, even when I said about myself, like when we was getting out the car earlier, I was, you know, saying that, you know, at this point where I'm at in my life, I don't really care, like how you know what I'm saying, like perceive me, like I am who I am, you know what I'm saying, like I'm a family man, like but they in the business that they're in, I feel like a lot of them can't really like expose who they really are. Some of them do, and that's what makes them special, but most don't. You know what I'm saying? They're putting up this quote unquote WWE image, like a fake. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I get it.
They're acting. They're great actors.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And it's sad that some of these people, they can't separate the facade from the person, or that facade has to become the person. You know what I mean? Like that's terrible. So then, like you just think about how many people probably lost within themselves in the music industry or entertainment industry, or
Crazy thing, that shit go way beyond that.
from a psychological standpoint, right?
Yeah,
way
it's
different.
people going through crazy shit like that. You know?
Of course.
You know?
But I'm saying, just that it's not making an excuse for like people in the industry, but their business is a little more on Front Street because it's like you can't make the wrong move or do the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Unless you're just out here crowd chasing. But like everything you do is pretty much under a microscope, so it's being seen no matter where you turn. And then also thinking about how many dudes is just straight offies that like, oh, this guy is nice.
Yeah.
You probably meet this guy, you're like, he's a cornball.
Yo, you know, you spoke about him earlier. You know who I like and I respect a lot, yo. Jim Jones, yo, because he gave us Jones gave us everything. We watched Jones grow. Mm-hmm. We watched him do, you know, his gangster thing. But then as he started getting older, he started, you know, exposing like more of his life. We see his interactions with his lady. Yeah. We see his interactions with his mother, the way he loves his mother. We see his interaction with his son, exactly.
But he just had a little clip of his son like driving home from wherever they was the other day.
You know what I'm saying?
Like with Jewels, and it was like
I'm a quote unquote gangster rapper, but I'm still like
a family man.
Like if I'm hurt, I'm gonna cry. You know what I'm saying? You gonna see me cry because I'm passionate about my shit. You know what I'm saying? And my relationships with my family and my peoples. You know what I'm saying? So.
But you know what's crazy? I didn't like his music until I got older. And I still don't like his earlier music. I like his later stuff.
I like his earlier shit better. That
like,
shit.
his last 2 to 3 projects.
Music.
I like those.
That mixtape.
I've always liked Jones' music, yo.
I couldn't get into him in the early years, but now I actually like his stuff. His last project,
that poem album was hard. But
hey, you know how just speaking of family, man, I talk about him just being, you know, being who he is and giving us his all. You know how you made it when you made it as a parent, bro? When you drop your child off somewhere, they be out somewhere, and you get that compliment. Oh my God, your child is so lovely, it's so well behaved. The moment that child of mine walk in the house, no all of that goes out the door. Straight savage, bro. My children are savages in the house. Outside of the house, straight angels away from the family. That's when you know your man is a parent. But nah, he definitely gives you everything. You need to see more in hip hop. Some dudes just have a personality like a hermit crab, but they just not gonna give you that. And that's cool. I'm fine with that. If you're just a closed off person, yeah, that's cool. But those people who do give us that, I feel like it's dope when you let us know you're human. Like, don't be sitting there acting like, you know what I mean? I smoke 400 or 500 ounces a day, and I only wipe my ass in Versace toilet paper. Like, those people, it's just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, this is
people that's cool, that's smoke.
I get that, but when you're putting on the facade that you do that, you're not really doing that all day, every day. That's when it is like, come on, somebody's seeing through that bullshit. So where y'all wanna go with this next? What's on your mind? I don't feel like I'm controlling the whole thing.
What you mean?
Whatever we want to do, man.
Just a little intermission.
Usually, very well and do.
You want me to do it?
Taking the topic.
I got some thoughts,
Let's
I got some shit I want to get off my chest. I mean,
let them know.
So, our guy, Nas just came out with his new album. And my man to my right, he kind of like hated on it a little bit. I called him a hater.
It was a little boring.
I called him a hater because he don't want to deal with the adult contemporary
No. I gave it
style of
I wish I had
Nas's music.
Got this point.
Little hater.
I gave it another listen when I was in a different mindset. No. And it did sound bad. It did sound bad.
Listen, don't be trying to put on a facade.
But it's still not what I expected from him. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't expect him to come out talking about slinging rocks. But I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like he just gets get lost sometimes in his own wordplay, if that makes sense.
Yo, I'm feeling the album. I'm feeling the way. And see, at first, and I said this to y'all too, I was kind of like thrown off when I saw the track. Yeah, the feel. I'm like, yo.
Features were scary.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, come on now. I was like, after that damn trash album you dropped with goddamn Kanye, I just wanted a new whole body of work with just you. But anyways.
But you know why the other album was trash. What was it trash? The problem with that, the
Kanye's it was the problem. Yeah, exactly.
There's another project that recently dropped, and I feel the same way. The influence is too heavy.
But
we'll get into that afterwards.
Yo, hold on.
Yeah, after this.
How y'all feel about Big Sean snapped on that album, on that track? Big Sean, Big Sean snapped. Big Sean is not a slouch, bro. He's not a slouch at that homie snapped.
So you know what I like?
Fire.
You know what I like though? That what Nas did in terms of those features, he didn't try to step into their right. They came into his right.
True.
So I didn't appreciate because like looking at the features, what is that?
Well, the first thing that went on in my brain is I heard something that's like some big truck and shit. And I turned my head and it's that.
Some people just don't care, bro. Some really don't care.
Right.
But what was I saying? I forgot what I was talking about.
You was talking about his features.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was dope that the features stepped into his realm and not vice versa.
Yeah.
And that because of that, that's what actually made me like 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
Because he was on Static's album, and he didn't, Static was like, nah, you got rap, the home rap, and I was like, okay, I rock with 2 Chainz now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
for those that don't know, he had artists like he got Lil Durk on the album, he got Anderson .Paak on the album, Big Storm's on the album.
First of all, Anderson .Paak can match well with anybody.
Yeah.
That's the one person he can make music with anybody, and it's gonna sound good.
He got he brought the firm back together, so he got Foxy on there, called Mega. and AZ. Yo, I was kind of, excuse me, I was kind of like offended, but then I had to think back. I had to go back and put everything together. I had wanted.
You expecting affirmative action type of deal?
No, I had wanted Nature on the album. But don't forget, Nature only came because Call Mega bounced.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that would have been like awkward.
Yo,
It would have been awkward.
seasons,
Yeah.
still burn that album.
It would have kind of been awkward to blame Nature in with the firm when it didn't really start. When you feel me? So
Right.
I respect it. But, yeah, so that album was tough. What else, man? Yo, last time we spoke, did we really get in depth about the 38 Special project?
No, because it hasn't
Yo,
dropped.
that shit
Like,
was
I think
so
we recorded the day before it's dropped. Or the week before it dropped.
That album. Yo, if y'all ain't heard that album yet, make sure y'all go.
It was just,
I'm telling the people.
weekend was rough.
Yeah, it
That
was.
weekend was rough.
Yo, if y'all ain't hear that the latest project from 38 Special, please go listen to that.
I like the artwork on that too.
Yeah, the album was fire.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: you like 38 more as an artist or a producer?
I can't even answer that question, man. It's like half it. Like, yeah, like he dropped some. He bodied that project. He bodied,
It was crazy because I didn't know he produced. I knew he rapped before he.
I knew he rapped before he produced too, but then like now once I found out he was a producer,
I didn't.
I'm like, all right, this production.
I didn't know he was a producer.
And yo, you know that's
That's what it is.
Home been in the game for a minute.
I didn't even know how long he'd been in the game.
Home got videos with like Styles P from like the early 2000s.
Like I didn't even know that.
But
I didn't know it until he did an interview. I watched. I forgot what channel I was watching on YouTube, but I didn't know until he started, speaking about it.
So the other album I was talking about that kind of has that had too much of that heavy info, and I was looking forward to this so much, man. That Versace tape of Boldy.
Yeah.
So I felt Boldy was spitting on it. I just felt like the production, and I don't think Jay Versace is a terrible producer. I just felt like it was very Rock Marciano-esque, very West Side Gun-esque. Like the influence was very West Side Gun heavy.
I only listened to it twice.
See, I listened to it a couple times. I love the lyrics. I love what he's saying. I just felt like the production wasn't him. Like, especially when you listen to Price of Tea in China versus the Versace tape. Like, Boldy's one of the dudes, he needs a drummer. He needs some type of bass, you know what I mean? He needs drums in his music. The drums don't have to be overbearing or super present, but I just felt like, it just felt like too much of a West Side Gun project. Like, West Side should have been rapping on all those beats instead of Boldy.
Okay. Now,
but you don't feel like it wasn't too slow or too soft for you, like the production?
I ain't listened to it too heavy either, but I wasn't disappointed.
I'm gonna listen to it again today.
Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna listen to it and give it a spin.
Yeah.
I just feel like the influence screams. I just feel like it has a heavy West Side Gun stamp on it.
So now that you're saying that, though, now do you feel like it's not him being in the camp is not a good fit because he can't?
I think he's a good fit for the camp, but I think had Derringer been on the production side of that, it'd have been a totally different story. You know what I mean?
I thought it was a decent team.
I'm not calling the tape trash, though. You make it seem like I'm shitting on it.
Nah, we're
Like, it's not
inquiring.
trash.
We want to know how you really think.
Right. So I don't think it's trash. I'll listen to it. And I'm going to continue to listen to it. He is. But just because you're on an umbrella doesn't mean you have to have that same sound. You feel me?
So it can't be no boo booms on the album.
There may be a few tracks.
Gunshots.
There may be a few tracks where West could have been a feature on them or something like that. But did it have like a whole West Side Gun feel for an album?
I felt like it. I felt West Side's influence on there, kind of the same way you felt that Kanye West influence on that Nas album, just on the production side of it, because obviously it was executively produced by West. It just felt like Wes was like, all right, we picking this beat, you doing this, you doing that, boom, boom, boom. Which he's good at. He's really good at that. He's good at picking features and all of that too. I just felt like it doesn't necessarily fit for Boldy.
You feel like
the entire project.
Do you feel like he put it out too quick? Because he had only announced Boldy coming to the camp like a month or two before the project even came out.
See, this might be a thing for me because I done heard many different variations of Boldy. Like there's shit with Boldy, got shit with Earl Sweatshirt and shit. So I didn't like and many other different types of people where he's fitting like you got shit with cool kids. And
you know those are his cousins, right?
I didn't know that, but
that's how he met Adam. He's on the No Joke podcast talking about it.
okay.
But more or less, him fucking up in the streets and he had to go lay low with his cousins who happened to be the cool kids. Well, one of the cool kids, I should say, and that led to him meeting Adam.
So I've heard him on different type of productions. You know, he meshes well with those type of deals. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
But yeah, man. Rick Ross, Mayhem Loren, putting out an album together. That'd be fire. Like you said, what do you call it? Two fat boys. Like the eating dress.
Yeah.
Yo, just picture them two at a table together, like both eating, both got the taco meat out, like that shit. Speaking of fat people, actually, Robinson on his way to not being fat one. Y'all seen that?
Yeah, you gotta commend that dude, man. Yeah, he in the gym. Good. Cause he's short and he weigh a lot.
Like Gravy joint, you can tell in his face, this shit look different.
Yo, that video is hilarious. Hilarious. I love how his face is cropped in on what's wrong.
I didn't track, you know, it has me in the kitchen doing a little, what is it, banana or salsa, but it has me moving my feet.
It has you moving your feet while your wrist is whipping.
Nah, wrist don't be whipping.
It don't be flicking. No, don't be whipping the Alfredo salsa.
Not while I'm moving my feet.
I mean, you could easily seasoning the chicken.
I will do that now, you know? I will do that.
You know what I mean? You could even do the hips and the feet. You know what I mean? You can make it work. Just all one foot in motion.
By the time I was doing all that, everything was done. I had probably 8 already. Before W, you know what I'm saying?
Damn, man. It's typical Brokest Podcast shit. We definitely lost some of that video footage. I don't know where it left off. We'll figure it out.
Our producer, Mr. Wax Groove, strikes again.
That's Brokest Podcast type
Brokest
shit.
Podcast shit, man. We need somebody willing to come work this camera for free.
Absolutely.
For free.
If it ain't free, don't at me.
But I mean, y'all want to wrap this up? We
Step on it and Merry Christmas.
So yeah, man. Let's look forward to more good music.
I got one thing to say.
Go ahead.
The plug hit me first when he got those.
Make sure y'all share this video, comment, let us know. Anybody interested in being on the show, man, feel free to hit us up. We always want that.
Mango.
Chop it up and talk with us. Great food today. Can't tell y'all where we got it from. Yeah, man, we can get this on SoundCloud.
Definitely going again.
You know what I need help with? If anybody can provide me with some direction on how to get this stuff on like streaming platforms. I read a bunch of stuff, but then I'm left scratching my head like, this shit still don't make sense to me. So anybody want to reach out to me, let me know how that works. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's break a YouTube algorithm. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers and 100,000 and 1 million. And we're going to do what it do. We love y'all. Best podcast you never listened to. Brokest podcast you ever listened to.
Hands down.
Shout out to all
Help us help you, man.
Facts. Peace.